All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Novi Knows podcast, or should I say, all right, because the Novi Home book for January is Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And I just got done finish. I just got done. I sound like a redneck. Just finished up listening to it. So if anybody's out there looking for a good book, I would recommend listening to it, not reading it, because Matthew McConaughey is the voice behind the audiobook. And with me today, I have Haley Naebig
Hi.
and Liz Bowen.
Hello.
Both these wonderful ladies make up our sales team. So if you haven't met them, you should. I'm going to go ahead and ask each of them to just tell us a little bit about themselves. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Haley.
Hey y'all. My name is Haley Naebig. I'm the director of sales at Novi Home. I have been with Novi since, what was it, 2022? Prior to Novi, my background was in residential construction, and then I ended up working for a builder in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, for several years, director of online sales and marketing there at Level Homes in Louisiana. Um, Made a lot of industry connections and I ended up at Novi.
That's right. You were nominated to the Builder 40 Under 40.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 40 under 40. I got a silver award as an OSC. Didn't take home the gold, but silver at the Nationals for OSC. Had a great time at Level.
You know, what's interesting about you taking home the silver, and I need to talk to your PR team, which wasn't Novi, by the way. Your face was on the cover of like every marketing ad and a magazine that they sent out, if I
Oh, so
remember correctly.
that was 40 under 40.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that
still
was
should have won
funny.
the gold.
That was funny because they asked me to submit some pictures and we had taken headshots at Level, and we'll get to this, but Liz was there.
This one, yeah.
I think you were there, right?
Yeah, that
When
was my
we
first
took
day. That
headshots?
was my first day on the job. Yeah.
Shut up. Okay, and Linda had her tiny, tiny baby, and I remember vividly holding the baby. It was a newborn over concrete and was like, this baby should not be this high above concrete. Anyway, so we were taking these headshots, and like I'm just kind of awkward sometimes, and so I was doing weird, like, what do I do with my hands? I'd spilled coffee all over myself also, so we were trying to hide like a stain. Anyway, so he got me doing one of those, and I sent it in kind of as a joke to the people who asked me to send in the pictures, being like, ha 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 ha. And then they messaged me and they were like, hey, like, just so you know, like, is it cool if we use this one for the cover? So that was kind of cool. Being
Love it.
yourself pays off.
That's right.
Sometimes, what is it? Casey with MI Home says be 5% more foolish. And that was one of those times that I was foolish and it paid off. So
Awesome. And Liz, what about you? Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about yourself.
So I keep laughing because I'm thinking, I can't believe we have a job that makes us listen to Matthew McConaughey's voice. I told Haley that the other day. I'm like, this is awesome. But my name is Liz. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I started in media sales and then I moved to Level Homes. I was a new home sales counselor in their high-end community, Roseanne. That's where I met Haley. And then I got married and we moved states because my husband is in college football and then Novi had an opening. So here we are. And it's been great. July of 2023 is when I started.
I got super nervous to run into Jen and the rest of the Level Homes team because I thought, oh my gosh, they probably just think we're stealing all their employees. And in our defense, you both had left Level. We actually didn't steal anyone. And Level is a Novi Home power user, so we're best of friends. But it is
now they
fun.
weren't
It is.
even clients at the time.
No, they weren't clients at the time, and it took some convincing, surprisingly. That was not an easy sell, even with you two having connections there.
Well,
Yeah,
now
no.
they love it and they use the heck out of it. And we love Level and we
Yeah.
tribute everything to them. So
Yes, you may see, and not may see, we will definitely have Level Homes and some of their sales agents on here in the next couple of episodes to talk about how they're using the listings feature and something that you both use in your demo
Yeah.
daily, right?
Mhm.
Well, listen, today's podcast, we wanted to go in and just kind of do a recap of 2024. this isn't rehearsed. I did send out a text and said, hey, I just want to talk about a couple things that you each saw as you were demoing and talking to builders, which you both talked to multiple builders every day, if not dozens every week, and you're getting a lot of perspectives from what's going on throughout the U.S., not just in a state or a region, but all through the U.S. So let's go ahead and I'll let one of you, either one, take the floor and just tell us a little bit, some things that you noticed in 2024.
I would say the number one thing that I saw consistently in my demos was a desire for a more streamlined communication. That was probably the biggest pain point with the builders that I met with. And that's honestly my favorite thing about Novi, because that was something that I dealt with when I was in new home sales, was just everything wasn't in one centralized place. So that is probably the biggest trend that I saw. And being hesitant to make decisions because of sales team. But I think that's gonna change. And we saw that kind of change at the end of 2024, and I think that's definitely gonna change in 2025.
What's interesting about, and you say streamlining, a lot of builders lately, I'm hearing one source of truth, right? Um, when we built the chat feature, we knew, as we were talking, and that was Kody Smith talking to builders, but not having the experience of working for a home builder like you do. We knew there was an issue. We knew we needed to solve that issue. But what was really interesting is, and what was hard for us as we developed the technology, is every builder had a different issue within that issue, right? Like for builder A, they're sick of their agents using cell phones to text the buyers. Um, Builder B, they're sick of, not having access to what's being communicated to their buyers in their CRM. And then, so when you say streamline that was an interesting feature for us to build, especially looking at that from, our through our lens and trying to decide, okay, how do we build this so that we can cover 95% of the builders? I mean, there's always going to be 5% that, for whatever reason, whatever you come up with isn't going to be good enough or isn't going to work correctly. And that didn't happen overnight. It's not like we released the feature and then we're like, oh, we did it. It was like we released the feature, got feedback, tweaked it, and we're still we're still changing that up. I mean, there's some stuff that we're doing with some of the CRMs to be able to push that into that chat and the messaging into the CRMs that we're still dealing with or fixing or making better, I guess I should say. So right on.
Yeah. And I will say too, just to add, I feel like a lot of, at least when I was in new home sales, we didn't know it was an issue. So you kind of don't know what you don't know. But now that you know, like looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, had we had Novi, we were great then, but we would have been even better. And now they're killing it.
So Liz, with the communication, what are some of the issues that you're seeing your builders are having? Like, what are they running into on a day-to-day?
The number one would be inconsistent updates.
Okay.
So not updating their home shoppers or even buyers on a consistent basis. Or not really, or not, and not knowing if their salespeople are doing it because they don't have oversight.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, we hear that a ton, all the time, actually.
Another interesting way I've seen builders use Novi for communication is even like internal communication between construction and sales. Because Liz, I don't know if you remember how many sales meetings I sat in on where our sales manager would say, you guys need to be having your weekly meetings with your construction managers. And like the sales girls would put blocks on I don't need to call anybody out. There'd be blocks on the calendar that would be like weekly meeting with construction manager. But like that construction manager can't usually commit to a time, right? Like crap happens in the field. There's emergencies with subs and like, so some of our clients are on demos. I'll hear, well, our sales, they meet weekly with construction. I'm like, yeah, okay. I bet
Right.
they do that.
Yeah.
So even just having a place where sales and construction can communicate about buyers or inventory homes that is also pushed back to the CRM. It's documented. because all of that communication is already happening. It's just not in a place that the builder owns.
Yeah.
So if something happens, they're kind of SOL, right? Like it's on a salesperson's personal phone, or if somebody leaves, they take it with them. So I see that for internal communication a lot. And I love that notes is really, really far away from external chat. Because we've had a number of builders, and I make this joke on all my demos. We've had a number of builders ask, hey, do you guys have an internal chat between like our team? I'm like, are you sure you want internal chat close to external chat? You sure?
Yeah, I mean,
And then they're like, no, you're right. Never mind.
yes. Yeah, can you imagine? Oh, the Joneses won't leave the job site. They're bugging me so bad, and then that ends up being the external chat that goes out. That's too funny. It's kind of weird to think, 5 years ago when Novi launched into the space, and because those that have talked to me know that our history comes from the medical industry where, we delivered our system our end users would take 1.5 million photos a month. To come into the builder space 5 years ago, and there really wasn't a whole lot of photo communication solutions. There was for sure no video communication solutions out there. And to like see where it's going now, it's almost like, wait a minute, like, 5 years ago when we were talking about this, everyone's like, nah, I don't know about this. Now it's like, wait a minute, you don't update your buyer with a photo, like, losers, right? I'm
Yeah.
quoting, I'm G-rating, that's a G-rated quote to a Uber ride that Haley and I had with a couple of our builders, right?
Well,
Yeah. Shout out to Paul with Bessler. Haley, what else have you seen? What else did you see in 2024?
I know I was thinking about this when you sent it out earlier. I mean, I've seen a lot of builders that, like Liz said, are afraid to implement new technology because their sales team won't use it, or they have fear about their sales team not using it. Like, I still like, this is a problem that we've run into since I started at Novi. And what I normally say to those builders is that it's stuff that your sales team's already doing. They're just using a different tool. I hope that becomes less and less of an issue as we go into 2025. I don't know. I know a lot of builders, as they grow, they implement new sort of leadership type not tools, but like the EOS type methodology for implementing new things or taking on new projects. That's what Main Street Homes does. So when we see builders that have really, really great usage almost immediately, they usually have a pretty tight management team with really strong plans and strong leadership. And so that usage kind of comes from the top down. No, go ahead.
I was going to say it's super interesting. So for those out there that don't know a ton about me, my dad was an entrepreneur. He owned a few businesses growing up. One of those businesses was a computer store, and I sold my first CPU system back then when I was like 14. So since day one, I have loved sales, and I've been in sales in a couple of different industries. By far, I love the builder industry the most. So hashtag builder industry. One thing that was super interesting when we launched into this space was many times builders were held hostage by their sales teams. And it was like, oh, wait a minute. And it was shocking for me, right? Like I was like, wait, why don't you just tell them to use it? Well, yeah, they kind of, that's George. He's been here for 25 years. He kind of just does what he does, right? But I'm seeing a trend. One trend I saw in 2024, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes. And I actually had a phone conversation with Ty over at Candlelight Homes, and they're out there in the Firefly development. Is they launched Firefly, which is this massive, it's like a 15, 18-year project. And they'll be selling homes in there for a long time. They launched it in 2024, and Ty hired every single one of his sales agents didn't have home sales experience.
Mm.
Many of them had sales experience. One of them had never sold anything before. But when I talked to Ty, it was interesting. The philosophy was that I get to create their habits. Um, Now, shout out to there is phenomenal salespeople that have been in this industry for decades, right? But it is interesting. I just talked to another builder 2 weeks ago that hired their first rep that has never sold a home outside of the industry. Liz, maybe similar to you. You had never sold a home and came in from advertising sales, right?
Yes, I'm nodding my head because when I went into advertising sales, I had pretty much no sales experience. And the guy who owned the magazine, I was selling print. He owned the magazine. He said, I love people who have not sold, who have not ever really been in sales or sold anything because I can mold them. And he's probably the best salesman that I know. And then it was kind of the same thing in new home sales. So I think it kind of contributed to my success in each one of those, that methodology.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Level, like Jennifer didn't really hire people, or she didn't go after people that had new home sales experience. Like her best sales agents, the ones that are still there, came from food and bev most of the time.
Yeah.
Like hospitality management, or I think there was someone that was a rep for like a beverage company or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
Mhm.
she didn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, or NFL cheerleader. She really liked NFL cheerleaders. And her method was just kind of to throw you to the wolves, which freaked me out at first, but that was kind of the best way to learn. Like I had no choice but to figure it out. Was I freaked out for 3 months? Yes, but I figured it out.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if, you know, division presidents, directors of sales, if we see this trend continue into 2025 of hiring or looking for salespeople outside of the industry so that they can mold them and train them and teach them in the ways of the Jedi, right?
Can I say one more trend that I saw?
Of course.
Okay, I have seen in 2024 a lot of builders switching technologies, which is a good sign. At least to me, it's a good sign. So moving to new ERPs or overhauling like major systems that they use, which, in the short term isn't always great for us because they're like, we don't have time to implement something like Novi because we're doing this, 12 to 18-month project. We're implementing Hierarch, we're changing our ERP, whatever it is. But long term, I think it's really great for us because we do have the ability to integrate with so many of those technologies that builders are switching to. And it just shows an investment in that we haven't as much seen builders wanting to use technology, right? Like it's not like we have to do it. It's like, okay, we had to do this first one that we implemented. Now we're choosing to do this second one because we think it's going to enhance efficiency, because we see how technology can make our lives easier out in the field, in the office, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's a trend that I saw a lot in 2024, and I'm excited to see how that plays out in 2025.
It's so interesting that you say that. What I know you just talked about efficiencies and technologies. Is there any other, do you see any other indicator that is causing that, let's say, open-mindedness from the builders?
I honestly don't ask a ton of questions when they say that they're switching ERPs about why, but I know that one thing that we've heard a lot is builders are switching to ERPs that can integrate more fully with the other systems that they're using.
Yeah.
I hate the word single source of truth just because I think there is not
There's
one.
no such thing.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, there's a single source of truth for purchasing. There's a single source of truth
Yeah.
for sales. Like we're the single source of truth when it comes to buyer communication, but none of those things, if everything is a single source of truth, then nothing is a single source of truth. So, but being able to pull all of them together in a way that they talk and communicate, and then they can create reports create individual reports that show them what they want to see based on data from multiple different sources, I think that gives them a lot more truth than maybe they're able to pull from different reports from different systems. That's my
Yeah.
opinion of it.
No, it's almost like a digital ecosystem, right? Like it's not just one single thing that's going to power everything. I love watching this. I love, I was day one Novi Home. Day one Novi Home was builders wanted zero technology, and why are you trying to sell me an app? We're handing out flyers, and I have a model home, right? Which again, model homes, I 100% believe in. So don't ever think that just because I say something, I'm digging on it. Um, that was the first year of sales for Novi Home. What's the difference between my website and an app, and why would I need that? And that was literally the number one question we got. And then, shortly after that, COVID hit, and I think we all were like, "Oh my gosh!" And then post COVID was nuts for 2 years. Builders, they were building. They had zero time. I feel like we're getting to a more normal market where builders have time to look at technology and look at efficiencies within themselves and how they can be better. And I think it's a more competitive market than we've seen the 4 years prior. So they're looking at ways to gain the advantage over those that they're selling against. But it's a fun time for us at Novi because we've been allowed to perfect the technology for 4.5 years. And now it's like, okay, oh, wait, you're looking for that? We got a solution for you. Let me help you out. Other trends, anything else that you saw in 2024?
I'm just excited to see where listings goes. I think it's too early to talk about any kind of trend, but I think just kind of piggybacking off what you were talking about earlier with sales teams, maybe that aren't super experienced, but they're able to follow a process. I think more than anything, that's what we've seen with OSCs, and I think I would expect to see more on-site sales teams functioning like OSCs than before, just being able to follow a process, being able to use the tools and technologies that they're given to communicate with those buyers, et cetera, et cetera. But I think just because leads take a little bit longer to convert, on-site sales teams have to be able to operate more like that. And I think listings is going to help a lot.
100%. I am super intrigued. This is 2025, and let's say second half of 2024 was the first time for me that every builder I talked to had some type of standing inventory, right? Like that hadn't really happened for years. And all of a sudden some builders that have, 50, 70, 100 homes
I was on a
that,
call with the builder a couple weeks ago and I pulled up their website and they had 600 quick move-ins.
yeah,
Or what are they? I don't think they called them quick move-ins, but whatever. Inventory.
yeah. I'm excited to see how we can, because you're the salespeople. You're the people that are out there talking every single day. You're hearing the problems, and when you hear the problem, you're like, okay, can our technology solve that for them? And it's going to be super intriguing a year from now when we do the recap and we're like, okay, what did builders use Novi Home? How did they use Novi Home to solve the quick move-ins or the standing inventory issue that they had? So I think that's something we're going to see a lot of this year.
Yeah, I'm so curious how that builder is pushing all of those homes too, the 600 homes.
We're going to find out. Now we'll
Yeah.
keep it internal.
Sure.
We'll keep it internal.
Yes.
They need push notifications, right?
Yes.
They need
Yeah.
listings.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anything you're excited for in 2025?
Yeah. I just scheduled my plane flight to the Burks Homes training, that I've been looking forward to that one for a while. And so that's I'll be working with Berks and a OSC consultant on finalizing a process for how OSCs can use Novi, how we would like to see them use Novi, and using listings for coming soon community nurturing. So when OSCs are working off a VIP list for months, potentially years, depending on delays, using Novi as a tool to stay engaged with those buyers on that list.
Yeah. I love the team at Burke's Homes. They're
Obsessed with Burke.
Katie's
Obsessed.
awesome. Yeah. So that will be an awesome training. Is that a 1 day or 2 day training for them?
I think it's just one day. I'm going in for a day. So
Cool. Cool. Liz, what about you?
I'm looking at, I like professionally wrote down my notes because my dream, other than what I'm doing, is to be on the news, a news anchor, or a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Anyways, I forgot what the question was though. Is it what I'm excited about in 2025?
You got it.
Yes, IBS. I feel like since it's my second one, I'll be more confident going in and able to kind of branch out and make more friends and know more what I'm doing pretty much. So I'm really excited about that. And then Williams Homes training to kind of piggyback off of training, what Haley said, their training is coming up later this month. They're awesome. We love them. So we're really excited about that.
They are rock stars. You're talking about IBS, and we will be at IBS this year. So come find us. We've got a booth that's way too big, but that's how it worked out. So we'll probably have extra couches if you're looking for a place to just hang out. Can you remember last year? So last year at IBS, how long had you been at Novi?
So IBS is February, right? I
Yeah.
started July of 2023, so like a handful of months.
I can just remember, and they don't care if I use their names, but you had Hamlet Homes coming by the booth, and you
Yeah.
were just like, "Oh, they're coming! Oh, they just text me. They're running late. Okay." And then you did the demo, and you're like, because they had a giant group. There was like 7 people with them, which
I feel like did I crush it?
you 100%
Yeah, I feel like that
crushed
was a
it.
good one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was when I remember I was nervous. I was like, Haley, what is our talk track? And she kind of threw me to the wolves too. And I just figured it out. And that's when I kind of felt like I can do this. I know what I'm doing now.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't really plan what you're gonna say at IBS either.
Yeah.
Madness.
Yeah. You just have to,
Screaming, your voice is gone by the end of the day.
yeah, you just have to go on the fly.
I remember last year, last day, last hour and a half, someone had set a meeting to come meet with me at our booth. And when they came over, I was laying on the ground in front of the couch. And like, I did not care who saw me. I was like, I'm so beat. I think you two had left because it was like the last hour.
Yeah.
And no one was I mean, at that time, everybody's gone, right? And you're just sitting there waiting for the doors open so you can take all your booth stuff out. And I was laying on the ground. I was like, if I can just lay here and stretch my back out for like 5 minutes, because you're walking all day and you're standing there. And anyways, IBS is a riot. Actually, I'm looking forward to a lot of our partner shows. It is so fun for me. Um, you know, a great story. Kevin Oakley and I have built a pretty great relationship. The first, when I met Kevin Oakley and essentially pitched him Novi Home, I flew into Columbus and really didn't know him and met him at a hotel during COVID to be like, hey, this is what we're trying to do with photo management and progress updates for builders, so that he could see it. And to look back from that moment, I mean, even Jeff Shore moment, like there's so many industry people um, and builders that I look forward to seeing. I'm excited for that all throughout 2025. So
I think my favorite part of IBS last year was the photoshopped picture of the whole DYC team with our shoes on.
oh yes.
That was fun. That was cool.
Yeah, we took some heat over that because there were some people that didn't get shoes. Yeah, and hopefully, if you're listening to this, you got an email from me maybe asking your shoe size. Maybe there may be a round two, 2.0 of the Novi Dunks. So, well, listen, we appreciate everyone tuning in. We always try and bring value. We hope that you found value in this podcast today. If you have any questions, Liz and Haley can be reached via email, LinkedIn, all the channels, right? And you're more than welcome to ask them questions, and obviously they will be attending all of the partner shows this year, whether it be IBS or the other shows that we do, like Jeff Shore, Do You Convert, and the other partner shows that we do. We appreciate you listening, and everybody have a great day.